Welcome to our coverage of the US presidential elections. In the past hour or so, the Republican candidate Donald Trump has claimed victory as the 47th US president. Remember, he was also the 45th, which represents an extraordinary political comeback. Will a ceasefire in Lebanon lead potentially to a ceasefire in Gaza, or what effect, if any, there will be on what's happening in Gaza? The hope, of course, is that one would lead to another. The fear is that Israel will give its forces time to regroup, rearm, and then redouble its efforts in Gaza. And that comment by Donald Trump, when asked by reporters if NATO should shoot down Russian aircraft that stray into NATO airspace, he said, yes, I do think they should do that. I mean, this has not really had a strong reaction from the Kremlin. It's all fairly muted. Do you think there's a feeling in the higher echelons in Moscow that Donald Trump is influenced by the last person he speaks to, this being Volodymyr Zelensky, and therefore his views on Ukraine and indeed Russia are not set in stone? Coming up in the next 60 minutes, as the conflict in the Middle East continues, Donald Trump offers Iran a 2-week reprieve, stepping back from military involvement and raising the prospects of a diplomatic solution. We've touched on this, and there's an element of speculation about this as well, but could this conflict with Israel and indeed US intervention weaken Iran to the extent that it could promote civil unrest or indeed a possibility of a civil war?
Absolutely.
Great concern worldwide that under Donald Trump all bets may well be off, because his unofficial message, we understand, to Benjamin Netanyahu is, do whatever it is you're going to do, but do it now before I take over in January. A reminder to you, Trump has declared victory, but he has not reached the required number of Electoral College votes yet. He is 3 short. Kamala Harris remains on 224. 270 is the target for victory. But this is all over, bar the shouting, and Donald Trump will be the next president of the United States. Plastic itself, well, it's a victim of its own success, really, isn't it? Because it's cheap to make. And it's incredibly malleable and useful. And yet, when you try to think of what alternatives there may be to it, none of them are as cost effective. Is that part of the problem? He didn't give Kamala Harris enough time, is what most analysts think. She hasn't been able to cut through to voters. She hasn't been able to make her mark. Perhaps she never was able to do that in the 4 years of Joe Biden's presidency. He gave her some very difficult issues, including immigration, and she really has struggled. She had a convincing start, but after that, it fell away, and a stuttering campaign with seemingly not a clear message. Yeah, although I would point out that demonstrations around the world continue to happen in cities, outside embassies, at universities, educational facilities. So people have not completely forgotten it, but I understand where you're coming from. The news agenda will move on, and sometimes that does happen.
You're absolutely correct.
Plenty more to come here on TRT World in our later news programmes. The big news today is that, nearly 7 hours ago, a ceasefire between Hezbollah and Israel has been announced. The question is, will it hold?